Chapter 28 to 29. Chi-Chi left with a disgruntled expression on her face. She was only really mad because her time with Goku was cut short, making her go back to the house by herself. From what Korin told her, he will be there for an indefinite amount of time. Apparently, his status doesn't let him privy to the exact date was what Chi-Chi found out after threatening him. Flying through the air on the Nimbus, Chi-Chi easily spotted the broken-down capsule corp with all the smoke flying through the air. What she didn't expect was all the helicopters and people crowding around it. Usually, there are no people despite the familiarity and popularity of the brand, but this time there were reporters from all over the city. She flew her cloud over the people and saw a slew of robots and police keeping the reporters from breaching in. Bulma was in the front of her house, and boy did she not look happy. She did brighten up when she saw Chi-Chi, but was equally confused about why Goku was not with her. "Hey Chi-Chi, how was your little trip? Where is Goku anyway?" Bulma had to call off the police officer when Chi-Chi landed with a resounding thud. "That bastard is going off training again. I don't remember a month where stood in one place." "What?" Bulma startled everyone in the vicinity with her shout. The reporters, police officers, and even the robots started to think she had a few screws loose. No irony intended. "Oh, he is going to get it when he comes back. Wait, did you get it? Did you get it?" Bulma started to shake Chi-Chi like she was a milkshake asking for the item. This time, everyone went back to doing what they were doing before, ignoring the crazy woman that was in the center of attention. "Stop shaking me." Bulma stopped, but didn't let go of the poor girl. "Yes, I got it from him. Would you calm down? Don't make me regret my decision." Digging something out of her pocket after her friend let her go, she retrieved a smooth orange ball with stars in the middle. "I was able to extort, cough. Ask him for it, and he reluctantly, cough, kindly gave it to me." She presented the item to Bulma, who gracefully took it off her hands. "All right, let's do this." Wind was blasting on Goku's face as he made the ascent to Kami's lookout. It made him feel kind of weird approaching a god when said god isn't all-powerful like he is supposed to be in his original world. The closest real god in this world is probably Zeno, and no one would want a god like Zeno. Seeing the sanctuary above him, he relaxed his muscles that were holding on the extending pole a little. The red stick locked in place, returning to its job of connecting the tower and the lookout. Climbing up the ladder that was sticking off to the side, he finally reached the long-awaited top. The view was something else on top of the world. Clouds blocked most of his vision, but the things he did see was amazing. Standing in the pathway before him was a short man with a genie attire on. They were just there staring into each other's eyes very intensely. The genie had the blankiest look on his eyes that made shivers go down Goku's spine. "Hello." That simple greeting was incredibly bland. Goku could only reply with his own and awkwardly look around the area. "I am Mr. Popo, Kami's assistant. You are the one who defeated the Demon King Piccolo. You have very impressive strength." Popo's eyes were tracking the wandering Goku without moving. He was like a creepy painting with only his eyes moving. Wow, God really has a nice place up here. No wonder he can see everything. Before Goku could walk around the statue that was Mr. Popo, he instantly vanished to reappear before him. "Do you have the Korin's mark of approval?" Still smiling, he reached out his hand expectantly at the young boy. "Sure." Getting the little bell out of his pocket, he gave it to the genie. "Thank you. Now you are ready to take the test. You will fight Mr. Popo." Although he said those ambiguous words, his face and body were the same as before. Little weirded out experiencing this firsthand, he started the attack on the genie. Since his opponent was right in front of him, he didn't need to move his body to hit him. However, no matter how fast he has gotten over the years, he barely missed him. "You are fast and powerful, but that is all you are." Mr. Popo teleported behind him when he said that, surprising Goku a little. Mr. Popo stuck out his fist expecting to hit Goku, but was met with another hand. After Goku caught his hand, he flung him away and leaped after to continue the chase. Stabilizing himself in the air with his flying technique, he was able to bring out a kick that connects with Goku's side as he was hit on the side of his face. Both separated after landing an attack on each other with wary expressions. Although they both hit each other, Goku obviously did more damage from the scratch that appeared on Popo's body compared to Goku's flawless skin after wiping it once. Mr. Popo had all the experience and skill while Goku was able to keep up with him in pure power alone. One could only imagine what would happen if Goku achieved both, but if this fight lasted any longer, Mr. Popo will receive an excruciating loss. You have the potential with your little understanding of ki. Having a strong body like yours will not suffice in your fights. As you can see, we are almost even in capabilities despite the huge gap in physical power. Yes, I acknowledge I can improve. I am nowhere near my limits and don't plan to stop. Goku was truly excited every time he thought of his future and where he was heading. It seems as if this body and universe have no limits. Heh, I like you. You have some spunk. Goku was immediately startled and looked up to the sky god. Once he realized that he is already in the sky, he looked over the palace in the back. I will meet you, come here. Walking with Mr. Popo, they arrived in front of the large doorway. They waited a little bit before there was a shadow that was nearing them from the entrance. A wrinkly old alien emerged and he looked exactly like the Demon King. Expect more refined. What? Goku let out a little yelp from the uncanny resemblance that the two shared. You could even consider them twins in the way that they are separated but have the same DNA. Calm down, this is not Piccolo but Kami. Mr. Popo mistook Goku's grade A acting with surprise and informed him of the situation. Yes, that is true. Let me tell you about him. Bulma was relaxing on the beach in her reclining chair. The sun was beating down on her slightly pale skin and reflecting off of her dark sunglasses. Yawning and stretching a bit, she fully accentuated her body for everyone to see. She was just wearing a plain blue two-piece bikini with white stripes that was a little tight around the edges. Strangely, looking around there was no one around. The sun's steady heat, the calm breeze that was ruffling the sun hat on her head, the strange blue drink on the counter next to her, no one was there to enjoy these luxuries but her. She was just laying there with no care in the world until the illusion was broken when a door suddenly appeared randomly next to her. Coming out of that door was a Dr. Briefs with two of those strange blue drinks. It's only a week left until the next martial arts tournament. The predicted time Goku will come back. Dr. Briefs was only striking this type of conversation because he knew how much that boy meant to Bulma. It indeed has been 3 years since Goku tripped to heaven and not much has changed in regards to life. Tien, Kaioshin, Krillin, and Yamcha have returned their gravity belts just now. They said that they came from someone named Corinne's and will spend the rest of their training fine-tuning and adjusting to their strength. Bulma didn't seem to have heard her dad as she just kept staring at the artificial sunset. Chi-Chi went on a flight to visit her dad and the new castle that they built with some of Bulma's help. So it was only Bulma and her parents in Capsule Corporation as of right now. Your mother and I will be going off to vacation for a few weeks. Eat well and take care of yourself. With that parting note, he stood standing there for a few extra seconds before promptly leaving the girl to her own devices. Life was going as smoothly as it was for Bulma since Goku has left. Hanging out with Chi-Chi, building inventions with her dad, finishing high school and blitzing through college, all of it was sort of a routine in her life. The only thing missing was a short, outgoing boy that could do impossible things to spice her life up. For better or for worse. Bulma didn't know long she lay there thinking about various things until she heard the doorbell ring from her room. A little tick mark erupted from her head from the sudden intrusion that interrupted her thoughts. What in the world? Dad probably forgot his keys on the shelf again. He should know that I am trying to relax right now. Their front door did have facial recognition installed and ready to use, but it did take a few seconds to scan and approve a face. They still had to fine-tweak it a little, but what it wasted in time made up for in 100% accuracy. Bulma turned off the 4D projection, making the surreal beach convert back into her bedroom, and headed down to the kitchen. When she made it there, looking around, she didn't find her dad's keys anywhere in the usual spots he forgets them. Looking around a little bit more, she was starting to give up until another ring resounded throughout the house. Really getting mad now, she hurriedly went to give her dad a piece of her mind. Why couldn't he just waste a few seconds scanning his face? Unlocking the front door with gusto, she slammed the door open. What did I tell you, old geezer? Stop leaving your keys behind. Bulma started her spiel even before the front door fully opened. She looked down a little where her eyes would usually meet her father's short stature. Instead, all she got was a face full of pure abs covered by a thin sheet of black. Goku had finished his training with Kami earlier than he thought, so he swung by Bulma's to see what has been up. He got a little impatient at the door when it wasn't answered for a bit, but when it did he was in for some yelling. With the contents of her yelling, he figured to just let her go on until she realized who it was. When she stopped yelling, she didn't say another word of acknowledgement or whatever. He opened his eyes to his Bulma's eyes drooping a little downward with a little drool coming out of her mouth. Snickering at what she was looking at and remembering scenes in the anime, he couldn't help but tease his old friend. Like what you see. I always knew you were a pervert like Master Rashi. Goku's voice came like bells in Bulma's mind, frightening her enough for her to jump up in astonishment. Seeing the snickering Goku, her face got as bright as a tomato. She tried to cover her face and speak something out so that Goku wouldn't think of her as more of a freak. GG Goku. What are you doing here? I thought you were tea training. Oh, was just in the neighborhood and thought I should drop by. What's wrong? I can't see your face. Goku walked inside the house, closing the door behind him. He pulled Bulma's hands down by her arms only for her to turn her head 90 degrees in response. Not being able to hold it any longer, he started to laugh his heart out with tears threatening to burst out. Bulma's embarrassment went haywire when she heard his laugh, and all she wanted from him was to stop. Stop. It's not funny, you big idiot. Why did you come in here without telling me first? Bulma hit the hunched over Goku that seemed like he was dying from the sounds he was making. I'm sorry. It was just too funny. I came by before the tournament to see how you and Chi-Chi were doing. Speaking of Chi-Chi, where is she? Goku was trying to catch his breath, much to Bulma's ire, as she explained that Chi-Chi was at her dad's castle and will meet up with them right before the tourney. Then I guess we are alone then, huh? At least I think so, if your yelling from before didn't clue me in. And just like that, Bulma's face turned red as she squeaked out a yes. It's been 3 days since Goku surprised Bulma with his sudden walk-in. They were both in the kitchen working together to make something edible. Goku suggested that he tried to make something that Kami had taught him, and Bulma offered her help. Looking over at Goku with the side of her eye, she still couldn't believe how much he has grown. Just 3 years ago, he was half her height with enough baby fat to drown a seal. Now he is a hunk of 5 feet 9 inches of pure hotness that made Bulma have butterflies whenever she was around. She felt she was a teenager all over again. Hey, can you pass me the pepper? Bulma expertly avoided eye contact when he looked over and reached for the pepper in the cabinet. Adding the finishing touches to the meal, he plated the food, and the two went to the dinner table to enjoy the exotic dish. Shoving the meat that was coated in a strange sauce in her mouth, it melted on touch and burst out with flavor throughout her mouth. She couldn't help but really fall harder the man across from her from that bite. After all, who wouldn't like a man who can cook? Hey, Goku. Yeah, can you come into my room later tonight? I need to tell you something. Ok. That brief conversation was all they had before they both separated to do their own thing. It wasn't long before the designated time for Goku to show up approached. Standing before her doorway, Goku was extremely nervous about what he felt like no reason. She is probably going to tell me about what she wished for with the Dragon Balls or something. Knocking on the door twice, he heard a soft voice come from inside. Come in. Entering the room, he saw Bulma sitting at the edge of her bed with only a nightgown on that one was able to see through. Unmodest about showing her plain black undergarments, she patted the spot next to her for Goku to sit. Goku, while trying his hardest not look at Bulma's voluptuous body, he awkwardly sat down on the seat offered. So, what do you want to talk about? Bulma had the resolve to confess her feeling tonight. It was now or never. He obviously had a reaction from her gown, so that was a boost to her confidence. Only, she didn't know where to start. So, did you think about us at all when you were in heaven? Bulma was very interested in looking at a piece of her hair that dripped down in front of her face. Her hairstyle was Goku already told her about his trip to heaven, and some of his training. God damn it, Bulma, why did you say that? Oh, yeah, I was always thinking about everyone up there. It was pretty boring just training all the time and stuff. Bulma watched Goku go into his own world and explaining more about his training. It's as if he didn't think of anything but getting stronger. Kami actually told a joke, wah. Bulma jumped on the unsuspecting Scion and pinned him on the bed. Goku could easily overpower the young girl, but he waited for what she had to say that led them to this position. However, he definitely did not expect what happened next. You talk too much. And with that, she aligned her face with his and went in for the kiss. When their lips touched, Goku's eyes were wide as saucers, no doubt confused about the situation he was in. He started to think about what was going, but his attention was quickly diverted to how soft the lips pressing against him were. Closing his eyes, he immersed himself and started to kiss back as best he could. Bulma was pleasantly surprised and really started to crank the intensity. At first, she was nervous that she would get thrown off and questioned, but now it was just a fierce competition on who was the best kisser. This went on for 20 minutes of back and forth with short breaks in between before Goku finally thought that they should talk about what is happening. Separating himself from her, he stopped the advancing lips so he could speak. What was that? I mean, it's not that I didn't like it, but you like me? Blushing at the confrontation, she could only pour her heart out at this point. You idiot, of course I like you. I have for a while. You just haven't noticed it, because we're so focused on training for a long while. Goku was truly shocked that Bulma could even like him, as Goku or as Kris. He knew that he probably was going to make his move on Chi-Chi if she didn't spawn Gohan and Goten, but he was thrown a curveball to the head instead. Chi-Chi is cute herself with all the womanly charm that she slowly built up, but Bulma is the male fantasy of hotness that captures you when you first see her, especially in person. I see. Then do you want to continue? Seeing her nod her head and lean in for another kiss, Goku had to let one go for another. Bye. Chi-Chi, guess I am ending up with Bulma. Or so he thought. What happened? Waking up from his peaceful nap, Yamcha finds Tien and Master Roshi talking to Bulma and Chi-Chi with bandages wrapped around them like they were mummies. Looking around, he noticed he is on a bed equipped with medical supplies and also wrapped with layers of bandages. To his left and right, he sees Krillin and Kaioshin in their beds still passed out due to exhaustion. Getting up from the bed with a grunt, he attracts the attention of the room as he heads towards the group. Hey, what happened? Did we win? What happened to Piccolo? When he asked those questions, Bulma looked visibly annoyed while Chi-Chi looked awkward at their situation. You know what? I am just going to explain everything when everyone wakes up. I can't be bothered with you people. And why are you still wearing those bandages? You should be all healed up already. Yamcha was still in the dark, but a whisper from Tien promised him that it will be explained later made him rethink his decision to ask again. Unwrapping themselves from the gauze, they were delighted to see that all their injuries were back to normal from what felt like a power nap. It was at this time that Krillin woke up and approached them. Receiving a death glare from Bulma and pleading stares from the others, Krillin didn't say anything and just huddled with them. Finally, Kaioshin woke up with a little more pain than the others. Tien went to help him up and guided him to everyone else. Now that everyone is awake, let me explain the situation. All of you guys absolutely got destroyed. No questions asked. You were all going to die from the gap of strength that was shown. Luckily, before anyone could, Goku and I arrived to save your sorry as *ES. Goku then defeated Piccolo, but Piccolo shot an egg out before he died. So right now Goku went to Corinne's tower to ask him about what that egg was about. Now let Chi-Chi explain the rest. Tien and Roshi already heard this part, but the next is new to everyone present, even Bulma. Well, when we arrived at the tower, Corinne redirected Goku to go to Kami. So we all went to the top of the tower dash. Wait, I have to stop you there. Did you say Kami? We all know that God isn't real, right guys? Oh, no, Kami is indeed real. And if it is Goku that we are talking about, I believe that he is the only one worthy of Kami's guidance. Everyone listened to the story and wondered that God was alive, or even existed for that matter. Anyways, we went to the top of the tower and Goku put his power pole on it. He then extended it and left me. Corinne says that he is probably going to be training up with Kami for the next couple of years. To add to her complaining, she pouted a little at the situation. Kami? Interesting. I cannot fall behind him the next time we fight. I will train my hardest and catch up. Bulma, do you have any more of those gravity belt contraptions? Those? Yeah, I made a couple on my time off. Easy to put together once you have the blueprints. Instead of answering the fiery Tien, all the martial artists in the room just go more fired up. A not-so-short explanation later, Goku learned of Kami and his past all over again. It was kind of soothing to listen to the wizened old man to talk, so he didn't mind. Anyways, Piccolo didn't have much life energy inside him when he was defeated by you, so he converted every bit of himself to the egg that he shot out. Inside that egg is a clone of Piccolo that has an indefinite potential that it will unleash in this world. I suggest you stay here and learn a way to control your ki and observe your environment to go with your already strong body. Sure, Kami. I just want to ask, how long will the training be? As much as he wanted to hone his ki that will help him in the future, the faster he learns this, the faster he will be able to go back to gravity training. I am unsure. It depends on your learning rate. I want to end it in around 3 years when the World Martial Arts Tournament begins. Piccolo will most likely take his stand there in front of the world. Okay, let's start then.